Looks like we're live. And today I'm going to be sharing, as part of the Tuesday tips theme, 3 tips for quicker visibility. So I'll keep this short, sharp, and sweet. So don't worry if you miss this live. I've stopped advertising them ahead of time just because StreamYard make it into an event and it's harder for you to find and harder for you to see. So, dear StreamYard, if you're listening, please can you give us the users the options, especially as we pay for our subscription and I pay a whole year in advance. Please give us the option. That would be really great. Thank you. Amen. Anyway, I thought today on this Tuesday tip, I would share 3 tips for quicker visibility because let's face it, so many people I've spoken to, and I experience this myself. We've ridden the waves of the pandemic. We have made it through to the other side. And now we're in this time, which for some of us is challenging, not for everybody, and that's okay. But for some of us, it's challenging. And the people that I'm speaking to are almost being scared to voice any challenges that they have. Now, this isn't about being visible and posting your challenges on social media. This is about what to do behind the scenes. And I've been working with a small team and talking about the synergy between visibility and sales and speaking as well. Really, it's not what we think it is. It's not that we have to have the gift of the gab or be forceful or be pushy or be coercive or be persuasive, but there's a lot that goes into the kind of like laying the table, so to speak, before people will go into being curious about what you sell or buying. So if you are one of my visibility vibers, part of the Vibes tribe, do go and have a look. I've used the annoying tag for today, the @everyone tag, but do go and have a look because you have an opportunity to sell your services. And there's like nearly 900 of you in there. And some of you might want the services that other people offer, but because you haven't told us what they are yet, or because somebody might have joined the group recently, they don't know what they are. So if that's you, do go in there, introduce yourself, share, and share what you're selling underneath the prompt that is in the group. So here are a couple of things that I wanted to share when it comes to kind of like the synergy between public speaking, visibility, being visible. For me, I specialize, especially if you're watching this for the first time, you can see there my name, Jenny Kovacs, Visibility Queen. I'm actually known as the Queen of Being Seen because you being seen, you being visible, and you being heard and taken seriously is why I do what I do. So the 3 tips today that I'm going to share, I'm going to talk about public speaking only because it's part of my business model. It's not solely what I do. I train, I coach, I mentor, and I also speak. And one of the kind of objections people have is, oh, but I'm not a speaker, or I don't speak in my business. Well, you might not speak publicly, but actually you do speak in other ways. So speaking publicly might for you mean networking in person. It might for you mean networking online, or it might mean you networking on a social media platform like LinkedIn, like Instagram, like Facebook, like Twitter, like TikTok, like Pinterest, any of those. So even when you type it out, even if you TikTok and point it out, even if you speak it out, it's a really great foundation to set up like a natural, non-pushy way to sell. Why? Because now you're visible and people know a little bit more about you. They know a bit about what you do. They know what you offer. And if and when they're ready to buy, then they know who to come to. Or if one of their friends, one of their clients, or another business can buy from you, they might point them in that direction. So don't think that public speaking is necessarily the be all and the end all. And I just want to address a message that I received from talking about last week's talk at Excel. And I appreciate that was a pretty big room. But not all my speaking gigs are like that. When I kind of look back from, well, what happened a few weeks before that, and before that, I was speaking to a group of 12 gorgeous women in business at the Ivy in London, 12 people in the room, not 400, And then before that, I was hosting a webinar collaborating with an organisation that I collaborate regularly with within financial services of all places. There were 300 people there and about 150 that watched back live, and they were based all over the world. So that message of one to many can look very different. Your video that you put out on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or anywhere else that you choose to put that out could be seen by one person. That person still matters as well. So when I talk about public speaking, I'm embracing any time where you show yourself publicly, where you speak up publicly too. Second tip that I want to give you is I talked about mastery in a recent post, and I went a bit geeky and calculated the facts, because they say mastery is about 10,000 hours. So I looked at some of the things that I really love doing, that I really enjoy doing. By the way, if you can hear a spattering, it's absolutely pouring down with rain here in London. But I looked at some of the things that I enjoy doing. I love speaking, I love sales, and even though there are other things for me to learn, I'll always build on what I know. And I realized actually that mastery was 10,000 hours. But the biggest objection that I get from founders, from CEOs, from business owners is, but I don't have the time, Jenny. I'm just too busy. Like, where am I going to find those 10,000 hours? Remember, if you've ever worked closely with me, I kind of take you through how to do it for you. But you don't, if you don't have time to practice, there's a couple of things you can do. The quickest one is to mentally rehearse what you want to do and what you want to say. This helps because it really hardwires your brain to let you know, well, I've done this already. I've done this before. So, when you go to do the thing, it's like something happens and you go, oh, I've done this 1,000 times before. But another cheeky way to practice, and my private clients will tell you that I've shared this. So this is a pretty expensive tip that I'm giving you for free just for today. When you're in the car, driving, when you're walking, when you're going to pick the kids up from school, if you're going to the supermarket and walking around the supermarket, you know how you see people with their earbuds in and their phones having a conversation? Well, what if you weren't having a conversation, but you were practicing something that you needed to practice? A talk, a video, a post that you wanted to write, maybe you're dictating it as you walk around. So if you don't have time, find the very small spaces of time that you have. Anyone that's ever done my Visibility Activator System kind of like online program, they'll know that I talk a lot about in the time that it takes to boil a kettle, making yourself a cup of tea or someone else. There's something that you can do within 3 minutes. Maybe you are thinking of a post you want to write. You can just have a think about what you might like to share. So mastery can come in many forms, and you can use those hours a little bit differently or more wisely. And then the third tip that I wanted to share is I see a lot of people that have got lots of ingredients in place. But imagine this, you're about to make a cake and you've got your ingredients all over the kitchen, but you're still in that kind of, I can see through my neighbour's window over the road and they seem to have currants and I don't. Maybe I should have currants as well. Think about what you want, get your best ingredients in place and focus on what you've got. This is a metaphor for looking at what you're great at. There's a lot of comparisonitis out there. And, I have received so many messages, literally a ton of messages and a ton of love from people that have said, oh, wow, I really like that you spoke there, or that you did this thing, or that you do this thing. And I want to do it too. And, as I said at the beginning of this video, yeah, I get to do the good pinch me gigs and I get to do smaller gigs. And to me, one's not better than the other. One's not good or bad. They're just very different. I like to do them all different. And if I only cared about big stages, big audiences, big things, I would have a gazillion people probably subscribed or following this account. And I would say no to everything else. But I don't have the kind of ego that would match that. And neither do a lot of you. So don't worry about it. if tomorrow you get to sit in front of 3 people and share what you do, you are still creating a ripple effect that you likely don't even know about. If tomorrow you get the opportunity to speak in front of thousands of people, that's okay too. You are still creating a ripple effect. So the thing that I want to say is focus on what you're great at, and then use the opportunity to build on one other thing that you feel like you could, do differently at, do better at, and it will feel more doable, less overwhelming. I hope this helps, and I would love to know which one of those resonated most with you. Which one of those could you do? Now, if you're like, Jenny, I've been doing this for ages, this is not my first rodeo, then think about a couple of things. Think about, okay, I can do all of those. Which one would benefit me right now if I build on what I already know? How could I do this in a new way, in a different way, in a more expansive way, in a way that feels more magical to me, in a way that feels more logical for where I am, in a way that helps with what I'm living through or going through at the moment? Look at how you can build on that. If it's something you've never done before, commit after this video to put some time in place to do it quickly. A lot of people will say, oh, I'll have a go at that next week. Whenever I learn something, I'll allow myself, even if it's a minute, just to start to put it in place. It might be to write a note about it. It might be to find a spot in my calendar, but I will commit to doing that as quickly as I possibly can. And then the other thing is, think about the kind of goals that you've got. Maybe they're goals that you've been looking to achieve, or maybe you're in a bit of a place where you're just trying to get away from something at the moment. Again, neither's good or bad, right or wrong, but have it align with what you are seeking, what you desire, what you're looking to do next, and have it work for you. I love sharing these tips. The one thing I would never want is for people to be making copious amounts of notes and never doing anything with them. So hopefully helpful. Bye for now, and let me know which one resonates most, which one you'd like to do. Oh, and while I remember, the offer of joining the Be Seen Academy, which is normally about 30 quid a month, to my fellow Americans, that's £30 a month or bucks. I'm actually letting people in for 6 months for £99 plus tax. So if you want to come in for 6 months for £99, I'll also throw in a half an hour recorded call with me, which is worth even more than £99. So you'll get the recording of that straight away afterwards, and I'll be able to answer any visibility question you throw at me in those 30 minutes. Hopefully helpful. If you'd like to find out more about that, then by all means, send me a message wherever you can. If you're thinking, well, I don't know that I want it for 6 months, I just want to, have access to this for maybe, just a month, see what it's like, see if I like it, then I will send you the link too. In fact, let me do that for you right now. It was open and then it closed. So I'll pop it in the comments. Again, if this is something that you want to explore, have a look. If not, scroll on by. I'm in business just like you too. And there's only so many things that I can do for free. So join the Be Seen Academy here. Not her, but here. Okay, thank you so much for watching. If there's someone else that you know that you think could benefit from this, then feel free to share the love. Bye for now. Thank you for watching.